All right, so my low yesterday was for getting to do a high-low act of kindness after I was done filming yesterday's video. My high yesterday was being able to watch the Actually, don't know why I'm doing. Don't know why I'm saying like that. My high yesterday was being able to watch the season premiere of Amphibia last night, which I will be getting into in today's video, and my act of kindness. I don't know if it technically counts as an act of kindness, but I watched the season premiere of Amphibia with my dad. I mean, all we have is like the regular channels up here now since we don't have movies up here anymore, so we gotta do something. And it was a lot of fun. Although, right now I'm kind of hot after working out, and it's not even 8 o'clock in the morning. So, right back. I don't know if you guys can actually tell, but it rained a lot yesterday. Particularly like in the afternoon. Shortly after like my father and I got up here. And so you can imagine how cold I was when I ended up going to church last night. And I had to wear I was wearing like shorts and a collar t-shirt. So yeah, it's been it was not necessarily fun. And I was wearing my flip-flops too. So yeah, after we got back, after I'm like dripping wet, I'm like just gonna wear sweats and veg out, you know. Although that actually does remind me, there is something I bring up about yesterday's video, because believe it or not, there's actually a couple things I forgot to mention. I mean, for starters, I didn't even get to mention what I actually ate at the Central for the last time. So, right back. Water just getting in my ear all like crazy. So, where was I? Yes, I'm just gonna talk about what I had for my very last meal at the Central ever. Well, even though I said that my go-to was always like their prime rib special, given the times that we're in, I should have known that they really were never gonna have that. But they did have onion rings, which I had, and I actually did have their clam strips instead of for my last meal there. Because I did have them before. I remember I liked them, and they were good. I mean, if I were to do it again, I probably would have ordered something else. Not that the clam strips are bad, just, I could have, just simply could have ordered something else. I also got a salad with Italian dressing, and they didn't have any crumbly blue cheese, but I did get extra onions, and a cup of the French onion as well. So, oh no, it was a clam chowder. I had the New England clam chowder. That's what I had. And interesting fact about last night. Hold on. Not last night, I mean the night we were at the Central. After I recorded my video yesterday, obviously some people are gonna like my posts, as some people do, and one of them was actually a cousin of mine. And should my cousin be watching right now, I just have to say, well, first of all, thanks for liking the stats, but also, no kidding, when we were actually at the Central, we saw someone who looked exactly like you. Like, it looked so much like you that my father was staring at this person for so long, my mom had to yell at him. And my father's like, man, it really does look like this person. This person knows who they are because probably watching my video right now. And so thank you to my cousin for watching my video and technically sort of providing a funny moment for my dad. Right, so get some soap on me, and without further ado, after I rinse off, back to my Amphibia. I'm not gonna lie, that water feels amazing. Like, it's warm, amazing. I mean, it's been like upper 80s and extremely humid for like the last week, so that water is gonna feel a lot warmer than normal. And it feels awesome. And let's see. In honor of talking about Amphibia, I think I'll go with Amphibia Green for my towel. So, yes. Let's see, where do I begin? Well, foremost, it's still Amphibia. It's still awesome. But you probably want me to explain. Well, the season premiere was just like before in season 1. Each half-hour episode consisted of 2 11-minute shorts. And the first one was called Handy Ann, and the second one was called Fort in the Road. Not Fork in the Road, like F-O-R-K, F-O-R-T in the Road. That was named Fort in the Road. Anyway, so the first, right away we're treated to a great dose of both setting and comedy when they use a running gag from the last season in which a character was picked up by like a giant bug and all the bug does is like fly around with them. So in the beginning of this episode, the frog that's still flying around is like, it's been 3 months since I've been carried off. Meaning it's been 3 months since the end of season 1. So that's actually a really great way of using both setting and comedy in a way. Right. So basically it's springtime in the land of Amphibia. The snow is no longer on the mountains, so they can pass through the mountains out of the valley and go to a place called Newtopia. Hold on a second. Why do you get my flip-flops on? Anyway, it is there at Newtopia that the answer for Anne being able to go home may be there, as well as being able to find the whereabouts of Sasha after season 2, and hopefully Marcy, which we have yet to actually see in the series. So, basically, Handy Ann is, obviously they're going to go on a very long journey, about a 2-week journey to Newtopia, and so Hop Hop orders a guy named Chuck to disaster-proof their home because they're going to be gone. But upon seeing Chuck, Anne's like, nah, I don't trust this guy. He kind of looks... Basically, you would think he looked unreliable upon first glance. In fact, literally all his dialogue is I grow tulips. That's literally all Chuck says, like, the entire episode. Or just tulips. It's actually kind of funny. Anyway, where was I? So Anne decides, I'm going to disaster the home, and she actually does like a really good job, but she orders this one sort of green glowing sort of slime from the woodworks guy. Remember the guy who was like, I don't. But this time it was actually funny. Anne's like, you got anything for protecting crops? And the guy's like, I do. Anne's like, that was weird. And then the shopkeeper's like, yeah, I know, it didn't feel right. Just stuff like that really gets to me. So it turns out the green slime, let's say, sort of awakens all the vegetables and they form like a giant veggie monster, which ends up destroying the home. But it was a really great fight scene. Like the family trying to take it down. like, they even do this one scene where the monster falls on top of the home, and it's like, you just did the wrong thing. And just like in the first episode of season 1, in this episode, her eyes glow blue. Now, as a One Piece fan, I think of glowing eyes, I think observation hockey, but that's just me. Anyway, so they defeat the monster, they fix up everything, because it turns out Chuck is actually really great at what he does. And yeah, basically the lesson in this episode is like, don't judge a book by its cover. And just because you think you can be good at something doesn't mean there isn't someone better in spite of appearance. So yeah, that's actually really great. That's actually a really great thing about Amphibia. A lot of these episodes have a really great lesson for kids. So yeah, naturally this episode goes. And then we get to Fort in the Road, where they actually begin this long journey. Which, I mean, it makes sense. Handy Ann was sort of an sorry, got water in me here. Sort of an exposition type episode, and Fort in the Road is when the plot begins to develop. So basically, they have a wagon, a family wagon that they call the Fwagon, which, okay, that was actually kind of funny. And they're traveling in. Hop Pop enforces these Hop Pop's rules of the road, which is actually funny because there's like so many rules, like. Now, Sprig, don't stand in a heroic pose. That prevents hubris and that brings disaster. Or no screaming or shouting, as it could bring about marauders and they could take your skin. Yes, there are crazy rules like that. So, basically, as this trip is going on, like, they're passing by so many great places that would essentially be its own episode of the show, honestly. But, they don't do that because, again, Hop Pop's rules of the road. It gets to a point where Hop Pop's like, I just enforced the rules. I didn't make them. And then Ann's like, they're called Hop Pop's rules of the road. You made them. So eventually they find these ruins, which it turns out to be like some sort of an abandoned automated factory. And they activate it. And there's like, rule number 68, never ever pull a lever. Then Sprig's like, oh, I pulled the lever. And nothing, and then like it activates the factory and all sorts of shenanigans ensue, including where Hop Pop gets taken, puts on the conveyor belt, strapped down. It's like, this is why we follow the rules. And at first, the conveyor belt's like sort of washing him and cleaning up a little bit, and he's enjoying it. Like, take your time, kids, take your time. And then he sees something dangerous in the distance. He's like, I take it back. I wasn't thinking. So they save Hop Pop and they save the day, and they're foreshadowing that apparently this factory made like automated robots or something. So yeah, that's actually one thing I've been watching a Grand Line review as a One Piece fan. I kind of have to a lot lately, and he said like one of the greatest things about a mystery is even when you solve a part of the mystery, it still leaves you guessing as to what happens next. It's one of the main appeals of One Piece, and that's actually an appeal of this show. And the lesson for Fort in the Road is, yes, rules do need to be followed, because if you don't follow them, bad things can happen. But if you enforce them too much, you could potentially, get like some sort of, essentially kind of like a revolt, I guess. So, yes. But in terms of everything I saw, the animation was gorgeous. The cast, Brenda Song, Bill Farmer, Ashley Leeton, etc. They're all very comfortable in the roles that they're playing. It's awesome. I cannot wait to see more, which will be a week from now. You know what? Since I'm wearing green for Amphibia and frogs, why not? I think I'll make this my Amphibia towel. That'd be cool, huh? I mean, as far as I know, only 5 episodes are going to be, like, premiering weekly, which is nice, because at least we're getting weekly. And that would technically mean that every single Sunday will be, a Thoughts on Amphibia episode. Although, in terms of thinking about how I was going to title it, I think I'll call it my Thoughts on Amphibia episode. I'll call this video my Thoughts on Amphibia episode 21. Because throughout season 1, I didn't refer to it as season 1, I just said episode 1, episode 2, and so on and so forth. So this is technically the 21st episode. Henceforth, this will be known as my Thoughts on Amphibia episode 21. So, yeah. it's amazing. Like, I'm really glad. I guess if I had to give any like real thoughts, I really did like the most. I like that they gave us a sense of setting, because 3 months since the end of season 1, which okay, some time has legitimately passed. Again, the humor's great. Characters are on point, on model. Cast is great in their roles. I love it. I can't wait to see more. So, like, favorite, share, the subscribe button, follow me on social media, I'm trying to get on YouTube. I am very humbled that I made this video. For all of you guys watching, Joe, hopefully you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Sunday. And remember, if you guys want to talk or chat, I'm always going to be here to lend an ear and always everybody. Take care, make good choices. And to the good people over at Disney work Amphibia, thank you. Keep up the good work. Now I gotta do one of these, because I always do that here. Even if I had to look into the sun like that. Ah, that burns. Okay. See ya.